Have you ever seen a cheap pocket knife and thought to yourself, man, that would be so much better if only this? Well, today we're going to take a look at some classic affordable knives and try to answer that question. Would they be improved with some better materials? We're going to answer that and more on today's episode of Knife AQ number 192, where I answer all your questions, sharp or dull. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the KnifeCenter. Say hi to Thomas behind the camera, everyone.
That cold open took a lot of takes.
They'll never know that until,
they do now.
Except now. Way to go. If you're new to this series, we answer questions that you folks leave in our comment section below these videos. So if you've got a question yourself and think it deserves a shot at being in a future episode, put it in the comment section. Please and thank you. First question today is from Chris Dunn 2934. Hey DCA and crew. I know Mora, Opinel, and Victorinox are all staples in the knife community and are time tested. It's very true. But if you had to pick one of these brands and make them add super steels and modern handle materials in their lineup, which brand is most deserving of this and would benefit most from it? Okay, I'll play this game. Let's go in the order you mentioned them. So you mentioned Mora, or Wharncliffe, as close as I can get to the proper pronunciation of this Swedish brand. This knife right here, the Kanzbol, is one of my favorites in their current lineup. It's not the full tang Garberg. It is a little bit thinner in the blade stock, and you've got this scalloped front end, which makes it slice a little better, especially for like skinning or food preparation tasks. I just like it. I like the weight of it too. It feels a little more, well, it's lighter weight than the Garberg, frankly. How would I improve a knife like this? This is one I think that could, be really cool in a higher end version. They're actually kind of doing something like this with their with some of their more expensive full tang options, but make this something like a full tang with micarta handles, or heck, don't even worry about the full tang. Keep the partial tang and give me a sandwiched, a clamshell of micarta sealed together like that with some nice fancy bolts, more expensive steel. That could be really nice. I love the feel of micarta. It would definitely be, it would feel a lot less like a Mora with those appointments for sure. But that's the way I would, that's the way that would feel like it made sense to me. You could certainly go exotic woods, but that's not really a modern material that you mentioned. And as far as steel, pick your poison. But on a Scandi grind, I like stuff with toughness. So if you want a stainless option, your 14C 28Ns, your Nitro Vs, not exactly super steels, but you can get your Magna Cuts and LC 200Ns for that matter. Or go nuts on some non-stainless high toughness steels. I think that would be really cool. As for Opinel, I don't know, these things, kind of like Mora's, make the most sense because they're low priced. This one right here is the number 6 with the X90 carbon blade. It's like 16 bucks. Really simple mechanism here, so I don't know if it quite lends itself to all modern materials. But what I would do if I were making a modernized, pimped out, whatever you want to call it, version of an Opinel, give me a full block of carbon fiber for the handle. Keep the same construction. That way you'd be able to have the same, excellent ergonomics on this knife, the same kind of light weight that this knife enjoys. This is a featherweight knife. What do we have? 1.2 ounces for this 3-inch blade. And super thin like that. Give me something super slicey or super high edge retention. Like the S90V would be a pretty cool one there. Of course, you could slap Magna Cut on anything these days and people would be happy, but that would be pretty cool, I think, too. Now, of these 3 brands, I think Victorinox is the one where folks say the most that Victorinox needs to offer better steel on their knives. And they usually use the word need. And as Victorinox is the world's largest producer of everyday carry pocket knives by an insanely huge margin, I don't feel like they need to do that because they're clearly winning already.
It's a different hierarchy of needs.
It's exactly. But it would be cool, and it'd be cool to see some higher end materials than just the Celador plastic models. And they do, of course, offer their ALOX models, like on this Cadet right here. But that's still just aluminum. It's not super modern, of course. There could be a lot of cool stuff. that being said, you asked the question, which is the most deserving and which would benefit the most from it? Deserving is hard to... I got it. So here I have some examples here of what some upgraded versions of these knives might look like, actually. MKM, with their subsidiary Mercury, or partner Mercury, I should say, knives like their Malga and Campo series, featuring particle steel blades, are clearly an answer to the folks asking the question of, can we have a Swiss Army knife with higher end blade steel? And this one right here, the KnifeCenter exclusive Campo 8, is almost perfectly my ideal version of this knife, because for a long time, and long-time viewers of this channel will know, the EvoGrip S16 from Victorinox, sorry, this is the S18, has been my Swiss Army knife for daily carry of choice. And the Campo 8 replicates all of the things I want out of that knife, except for they didn't have a file in their tool set, so we went for a small serrated pen blade. But it's also got, in addition to the M390 main blade, you've got scissors, a saw, a nice working wood saw, I should say. You've got a can opener and a cap lifter, which strong back spring, and my fingernails are short right now. So you're not gonna see the can opener on this one today, or bottle opener on this one today. It's also got on the back a Phillips screwdriver and the corkscrew. Now, if I could have one or the other, I want the Phillips head driver, but we asked them if they could put both on the back, and they said sure, which is great because this also fits some of the aftermarket accessories that Victorinox offers, such as their eyeglass screwdriver, their fire ant fire starters, sim tools, a few other things that you can get your hands on that'll fit right in there, which is pretty cool. And the burlap handles here are also pretty nice. So there are some options out there with higher end steels. There's not a whole lot. The Fox Vulpes series comes to mind, but you could certainly say there would be a benefit to some regularly produced higher end blade steel offerings in the Victorinox lineup, because they have so much broader of a selection of stuff out there. You do see some Damasteel stuff every now and then, but it is usually limited and usually very expensive. An upgraded Mora, it kind of ceases to feel like a Mora in my mind, and I think there's competition out there for what an upgraded version of this would look like. I mean, look no further than LT Wright, for example. Handmade. This one's an A2 steel blade, so it's not super exotic, but they do have some like 3V and Magna Cut in their lineup right now. This would kind of scratch the same itch of what a higher end Mora would be like. So that kind of already exists too. So the consumer wouldn't benefit as much from there being an upgraded, like a truly upgraded Mora. The Opinel is a more interesting case study right there, because if we took this, like I said, gave it, the full carbon fiber handles, kept the blade geometry, just made it something with real high edge retention, there's a little less out there like it. Like, in fact, I couldn't really come up with something that I felt would represent what an upgraded Opinel would be. Now, it would certainly be a more distinctive product in the marketplace. I don't want to say more unique, but you know what I say. If I'm saying that anyway. It would stand, it feels like there might be a little more reason for this to exist than the others. That said, what I would buy personally, I'd buy an upgraded Swiss Army knife with some particle blade steel. In fact, I own a Campo 8, so there you go. That'd be what I would buy, but maybe the Opinel makes the most sense because there's nothing else quite like it if we were to actually do that thing you said. So yeah, hope that helps. What would your folks' choices be down in the comments? And what are some other, classic or not, budget knives out there that you think with a little tweak could just be sent over the top? Could be really awesome. Let us know in the comments. Next question comes from Zen Birdyard. Hello, DCA, Thomas, Seth, and team, in no particular order. Thank you for all you do. I am looking for a pocket-sized stone or stones to touch up edges in the field, mainly for carbon steel Scandi geometries, something freehand, pocket-sized that can touch up an edge, but maybe with a little more effort and time could bring an edge back to its full glory. Any recommendations? Sure do. One of the things, and actually both of these things are things that I own currently in my personal collection. Let me find the right link here. Sorry, I had the wrong thing up. We got some Spyderco and some DMT to take a look at. Spyderco has these options right here made with the same abrasive material that their sharpener is made with. And as you can see, they are quite thin. They don't take up a lot of space. And they each come with a leather pocket slip right here. So slip that into the slip, and not only do you have a stone, which is kind of a medium and a fine between these two, you've also got leather, which could be used as a strop to finish off your process. These run about 37 bucks for the individual ones of these, and I think they work quite well. I personally have one of the double stuffs, which is here in the plastic packaging, which is why I didn't have it on the table right from the beginning. This runs about 60 bucks, and it has both kind of sandwiched together, the fine and the medium, and it creates a groove between them too, so you can even do like fish hook type stuff in it, and it comes with that leather sheath. I think this would be a great setup for general maintenance out in the field. If you want something with more aggressive grit, the Double Stuff 2 has a cubic boron nitride abrasive behind the standard white stone, so pretty coarse there, and then still you've got the leather for stropping at the end. These are like 82 bucks and some change though, so they are quite pricey, but they do work quite well, and they clean really easily too, which is something to consider. The other brand I would look at would be DMT. You could go with, there's a whole bunch of their diamond abrasive sharpeners that would work. They've got small keychain models like this in various grits. Certainly don't take up a lot of space, very lightweight as well, because you've got a plastic backing on a thin metal sheet with the diamond impregnated surface there. Yeah, doesn't take up a lot of space at all. If you want a little more, handle length, you can go with something like their diafolds, which is the same thing, but with, like butterfly style opening plastic handles. They also have, little freestanding pieces with leather sheaths, so you've got stropping capabilities, whole range of grits, and their credit card sharpener, I think would also, I have a set of these myself as well with. All of mine look really old compared to these. I've had them for a long time. But these would work very well, very easy to carry, and even walletable for an extremely easy way for you to integrate into your carry, depending on what your wallet looks like. Price on the standard diafolds is like 22 bucks. The keychain versions are, of course, less expensive. The credit card versions there, about 14 bucks. Various grits, as mentioned, can be had. Take your pick. Any of them would work well, especially if you know what you're doing. And if you don't, just got to practice a little more. That's the cool thing about it. Anyone can get better at sharpening. All right, now we come to our next segment, which is Damyr's Buried Treasure, where thanks to his question that launched this series, we're going through the alphabet of the brands we carry and pulling out a brand that we've never featured on the channel before. Today we're on the letter K, and the brand is Katz, K-A-T-Z. And I've got two of the knives we carry from them. It's a fairly small lineup on our shelves. This is the Avenger boot knife right here. They're about 175 bucks, double-edged, injection molded handle here. XT70 stainless steel is what you're dealing with right here. So performance is not really fully modern on these, and in fact you can tell by the aesthetics too. This feels like somewhat of a dated product at this point, maybe 20, even 30 years old in terms of of when this style might have been more prevalent, maybe even longer, I don't know. But anyway, they are built really well. They're built in Japan, and it has similar levels of fit and finish that you might expect from something like a Feldkniven, so that definitely tells you how well they're built right there. The sheath on the Avenger, I had it. Thomas, what did I do with it?
I don't know, I was outside.
Oh, it's right there. The sheath on the Avenger is nylon with a retention strap and an actual, honest to goodness, boot clip. So this is a boot knife that lives up to the name. You can't actually boot carry this without any kind of modifications or custom sheath to suit you. The other model I got here is the Lion King hunting knife. No affiliation with Walt Disney. 260 bucks. Specs are pretty much the same. Or actually, this is XT80 as opposed to the XT70 on the previous knife there. 6-inch blade, again, kind of an older school hunting knife feel here. Hollow grind, a little bit of a recurve going on as well. And thick there for some chunky abuse when you need it. and that rubberized grip. I like the little bevel here on the leading edge of the guard. That's a nice little touch, which is going to make it more comfortable if you have to get your finger above that guard to extract this from something. You've got a little bit of space and a little bit of comfort there too. Sheath on this one is older school, or maybe not older school, classic leather right here. Really well burnished, nice welt, everything on it feels quite good. Sheath is made in USA too. The knives are made in Japan. All right, now we come to the lightning round for today. First question is from Kyle Miller 1390. Hey DCA, I'm going to be the best man at a friend's wedding and I wanted to get my friend a knife as a gift. I would need to be compliant with European knife laws. So generally speaking, we're like 2.5-inch blade, non-locking is, and non-one-hand opening is the least common denominator between there. We're not lawyers. Know your, check your local laws. But I would prefer something that looks a little classier but doesn't break the bank. Under $100 would be ideal. Any suggestions? Thanks. My friend, you have got to go with the Victorinox Cadet. This is a classy knife. It is something that knife people and non-knife people alike can appreciate. It is slim, so it carries easily, even in dress clothing. It's 45 bucks, so it's very inexpensive too, and it's got just enough. You've got a main blade right there, and this is under 2.5 inches, isn't it? Oh, it's just a hair over, so.
Sharpen it a few times.
Sharpen it a few times, there you go. You've got a fingernail file with a nail cleaner there at the end, and of course, cap lifter with a flathead screwdriver and wire stripper on it, and can opener with small flathead, and also impromptu Phillips head there on the tip. That's what I would go with. Very affordable. It's under, it's less than 50 bucks, so get two. Get one for you, one for him. Or get him one and pay someone to have it engraved with either the date or his name or his initials and his fiance's initials. That could be good. There's plenty of options there. But that would leave you some room in the budget to get that done too. I would do that. M. Sicko has our next question. Hey DCA, blade names? I get some refer to the shape, aka or a la hawkbill, but there are some that certainly do not. Is there a Mr. Wharncliffe out there? Some knife blade nomenclature would be greatly appreciated. That would be the Right Honorable Lord Wharncliffe to you, aka James Archibald Stuart Wortley Mackenzie, who was the patron of the Joseph Rogers and Son Cutlers, who were the cutlers to their majesties in Sheffield, England in the early 1800s. And that is indeed where the Wharncliffe name and origination in the modern nomenclature comes from. This right here, this Case Seahorse Whittler, is kind of like the archetypal OG Wharncliffe style blade right here. Straight spine, tapering, thank you, Thomas. Straight edge, comes down to a very acute tip with a taper to the spine almost all the way, and as they were originally, pretty thick, especially for a slip joint blade. And these were primarily intended at the time, or at least it is described today as being intended to be a wood cutting knife, a whittling knife. And this in fact is the Seahorse Whittler from Case Knives. So even though today the definition of Wharncliffe doesn't necessarily mean that it's a wood cutting knife or has to have a thick spine like this, we're generally describing the shape, but it indeed does get its name from a person in this case. Interestingly, bonus lightning round question here. The pen blade on this knife. You know where pen knives get their name from? They were small blades about this size, originally used to sharpen quills and such. Your pen, hence pen knife. We still say it today. It's sort of an anachronism, but that's fun. Well, now we come to our final question of the day, which is of course our most seriousest question of the day, which comes from Mogu Kumail. I want to have an argument. Can you present me with the best knife for that? Well, I can tell you the easiest way for us to start an argument here on the KnifeCenter YouTube channel would be to put a Benchmade bug out on the table. Arguments ensue. This one has some nice Berkshire Forge titanium scales on it too. You can get your hands on. There you go. Now they have to decide whether they're going to be mad and prove me right in the comments or whether we're all just going to be calm and be happy and love one another.
Comment either way.
Anger on the internet is more engaging, so bring it on. Anyway, that's all we have time for today, folks. Thanks for all your questions. Keep them coming. Keep your most serious questions coming as well. Let me know what you thought of the answers today. If you've got some other vintage or, sorry, not to say vintage, but affordable pocket knives that you think could be improved with some material changes, let me know what you think of that down in the comments. And if you want to get your hands on any of these knives in front of me here, or sharpeners, take a look at the links in the description that'll send you to KnifeCenter.com. Where in addition to our new Sezzle payment options, which will allow you to split your payments up into 4 installments, also don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program so you can earn some free money to spend towards a future knife. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera, and we are signing off. See you next time.